Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Podium eSports' coverage of the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series presented by AllStar Visuals and Oceanic Dirt Sim Events. Tonight, we bring you coverage of Round 3 live at the virtual Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. I'm Justin Brentz. Alongside me is my colleague Taylor Burris. We also have some very special guests joining us this evening. First, from the McConey Setup Shop, it's Jeffrey McConey. Also joining us tonight is the voice of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, Evan Pasoko. Our producer Ryan Bauer is behind the scenes down to the virtual production trailer powered by Top Flight Computers. Ryan is using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Thank you so much for tuning in for what's expected to be a big race tonight. First things first, Taylor, it's been some big-time exciting action to start off the first couple weeks of the campaign. What are your thoughts entering tonight's action?
Well, we've seen some of the biggest names in dirt racing here on the iRacing service taking it with the wins. We saw Hayden Cardwell take home victory 1, and then we saw Alex Bergeron take home the second win of the season. So great offers from these drivers, but some of the up-and-coming stars have also been showing a lot of potential and great speed throughout the field. So interesting to see what we could see here at Eldora.
And Evan, I turn to you now, and this is a series that features a mix of pro drivers as talked about by Taylor and some of the up-and-coming stars in all of dirt racing on iRacing. What are your expectations for a race such as this tonight?
Well, I think the biggest sit-down we're looking forward to, aside from the fact that we're at the Big E, right? It's a good place to have a race. It's the fact that, to the point that Taylor just mentioned, we've seen 2 different race winners in the opening 2 weeks, and we've got a long way to go this season. But let's see if some of those other names can get up into the mix. The main objective every night, right, going to be just getting all the way to that feature. But I want to see if some of those guys can put it to these big names, make a statement early on this year that they're not only going to be in contention for a couple of races, but they want to be in this thing for the long haul.
And of course, Eldora, a very tricky track. Jeff, your thoughts on this circuit for tonight?
It's all about keeping up with the track. Really, you start off towards the bottom in qualifying, maybe some heat races, you'll be seeing them run towards the bottom early on, and then you'll see everyone start to go to the top. So you have to be able to run up at the top. You might see some guys catfishing down at the bottom though. Well, they'll try and pull someone else down, get them to see what's down there at the bottom. What's got them so quick? They get down in the bottom, they get in the sludge, and man, it's going to be a long night for them. So just being smart, running your own race, and running up at the wall once the track starts to wear in.
Let's take a look at your Google Earth to show where we're at tonight. Again, Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio for tonight's action. This racetrack is half a mile, 0.805 kilometers, and opened in 1954 as Earl Baltes was the architect of this facility. Clay surface here at this racetrack. The drivers will be running for 35 green flag laps for tonight's feature. In-sim time is currently just past 10:30 at the moment. So under the lights here, Taylor, for tonight's action, that means it's going to be fairly cool for our drivers tonight. In fact, fairly cool temperatures overall.
They certainly are going to be, and that's going to provide a little bit of interesting racing here tonight. We'll see a mix of grooves, a mix of also different strategies throughout the duration of tonight's race. Of course, with the heat races, it's going to be interesting to see who can survive that, and especially when we get towards the end of the last few heat races, how the track conditions will be.
With that, all the drivers have wrapped up qualifying. That means it is time to go heat racing. It's heat number 1, and on the pole overall tonight is Alex Bergeron with best qualifying time at 13:274 tonight. He'll start alongside the fellow Canadian Jeremy St. Louis. Rusty Kruger starts in 3rd tonight with Hayden Harvey in 4th position. Zachary Brouillard starts in 5th with Eddie Hartley starting in 6th position. Rounding out the top 10 starting spots, it's Eric Wilkie along with Grayson Springer, Daniel Burkhardt, and Jeffrey Stewart will round out the 10 drivers in our first heat race for tonight. On that note, these drivers now getting ready for what's exciting one. Evan, it's going to be interesting to see which drivers come out on top in this one. Your thoughts on the drivers in this respective heat, especially having a multiple-time champion Alex Bergeron bring them to the green flag?
And they're going to have to hope that he has some sort of a mistake, right? When he starts up front, it's going to be very unlikely that Alex Bergeron's going to falter. If he gets out and away early, good luck catching him, right? But you can make your night a lot easier on yourself if you can get into the top 2 in this heat and not have to worry about all the other races on later tonight. You can kind of put your feet up and relax and watch everybody else as that track changes over the course of the night. You have to assume that Bergeron's going to be good up top. We'll see how it shakes out. Might be a battle, though, for second on back.
Let's take a look at your Podium Esports race analysis for tonight as we get ready for the first of 6 heats estimated for tonight. Top 2 will advance for tonight's action to the feature directly, 10 laps for each respective heat race. The rest of the drivers then will have to go through the alphabet. The E main will be 12 laps, the D main, the C main, and the B main as well 12 laps. But the top 4 from the E main advance to the D main. Then the top 4 from the D main advance to the C main. Then the top 4 from the C main advance to the B main, where the top 8 advance to set the 20 car field for 35 green flag laps for tonight's feature. Again, these drivers here on Eldora Speedway, where 24 degrees of banking is set in the turns, 8 degrees down the straightaways with the clay surfaces here in Rossburg, Ohio. And with that usually means one thing, Evan. Speed, and more speed to be able to get your way through traffic is going to be also critical for tonight.
And especially as we get bigger in the fields right over the course of this night. 10 drivers, only 2 going to make it in out of this opening heat race. It is a tall order. You're going to be dealing with that traffic at the end of the night when there's more cars and when the track is worse, right? So this is going to be the best of drives all night long. Take advantage of it. Get yourself locked into the feature.
Drivers now making their way down the back straightaways. We're just about all set to go. It's Alex Bergeron in control of the field. Then it's the Canadian Jeremy St. Louis on the outside of the team dirt car racing machine. That'll be followed by the pro in Rusty Kruger. Eddie Hartley rounding out your top 4. iRacing pace truck is off. Green flag is out. We're underway from Eldora. Bergeron already making his way up to the top line, trying to rip the fence down the back straightaway. St. Louis trying to find his way in the middle of the racetrack while Bergeron slides his way for the bottom all the way up to the top of the cushion to end the first lap.
Oh, in this race, drivers already going way to the outside as St. Louis maintains the second position. You're on board there with Hayden Harvey in third. A lot of moving towards the back of the pack, but Bergeron home free so far, 2 laps in.
Harvey also off to a good start, needing to close up, however, half a second. The quickest lap set by St. Louis so far is Bergeron. Falling on with boarded in, as you see, looking back, the different lines starting to come into play. St. Louis making contact with Bergeron. He goes up into the wall. Harvey now moves up to second with the contact.
Huge mistake. I said that's something these drivers were going to be looking for, was if Alex Bergeron had a misstep, and that was it, as he'll fall down. St. Louis goes to the top of the board, and Harvey now picks up that spot. They'll go to first and second, and you can see Bergeron all the way down just into P8.
He's going to have to hope for some luck in the alphabet, to say the very least now, but the fight for the race lead is on. These two currently in the transfer spots. Harvey with contact with the wall halfway that time by. He tries to get the run. He was a little bit quicker than St. Louis last time by. He goes for the slide. He tries to go for the lead. Harvey up to the wall with a crossover back. St. Louis forced to check up.
It goes to show you Harvey's not content with second. He wants that first transfer spot into the feature, and a huge slide in 3 and 4 gives him the lead. So now St. Louis on the bubble in second position. Don't look now, but Rusty Kruger's up to third. He's searching with 3 to go.
The Swindle Speed Lab machine now claps the wall as he now tries to find his way into the bubble position. Works a lane off the top wall this time, all the way up to the fence for the corner exit. 2 laps to go.
And you got Briard and Wilkie, more drivers, 4th and 5th, looking in. If something happens from your top 3, they could be in a position to bounce. Harvey going to look for the white flag, and St. Louis trying to hang on.
Can he hold on for 2 more sets of corners? We're about to find out as the white flag waves. Kruger moves to the bottom, tries to gain the momentum for the final slide. He goes for it on the bottom side. Harvey holds on to the lead. St. Louis holds on to second. They move on in the 2 transfer positions. Rusty Kruger, the first driver out. Brillard, Wilkie, Hartley, Burkhart, Bergeron, Springer, and Jeffrey Seward will round out the 10 drivers who make the start in heat number 1. With that, it's time to turn things over for heat number 2 to Taylor Burris and Jeff McConey.
And as we get things ready for heat number 2, let's go over your starting lineup for heat 2. Starting on the pole for heat race number 2, Logan Rumsey, followed by Tyler Ducharme in second. Jesse Dawkins will be starting in third, followed by Carlin Cure in fourth. Matt Dixon in the fifth position. Vinny Sansone will be starting in sixth, followed by Gage Stevens in seventh. Bowen Smith will be starting in the eighth position, followed by Austin Griffey in ninth. Anthony Woodhull will round out your 10-car field for heat race number 2. Jeff, what did we learn that these drivers have to deal with from Heat Race 1 that these drivers in Heat Race 2 can maybe apply and make sure that they get the best possible chance to move on to the feature race?
If you're going to make a slide job, you better make sure you're clear. That's the number one takeaway that I'm taking from race number 1. I think Alex Bergeron was the favorite by everyone to advance, got caught up in an incident, and they have to understand here, just one mistake can throw away everything here. And now Alex Bergeron's behind the 8 ball, so I think all these drivers that were just sitting and watching, they're anxiously awaiting, they're watching this from the pits. Now we're going to see some good racing, but I think we're going to see a little more restraint here. Everyone wants one of those top 2 spots.
Certainly so, but for some of those who are in the back half of the field, they're going to have to go heads up with 2 World Championship drivers, Logan Rumsey and Tyler Ducharme, who are going to be on the front row. As the pace car lights are off, we are about to go green flag racing for heat race number 2 here at Eldora Speedway. As we see, keeping an eye on a couple of drivers that'll work their way up through the field. Bowen Smith, one of the drivers who are seeing if they can put on a good show here tonight, or will they have to go through alphabet soup later on once we complete all of our heat races. The pace truck will make the hard left turn down towards pit road, and we are about to go back green flag racing here for heat race number 2. And a couple of cars already going to go 3 wide as they come down the front straightaway heading into turns 1 and 2. Right now, Rumsey holds on to the race lead, but a couple of cars already going up to the top side of the racetrack.
Up towards the front, Logan Rumsey starting to get a little bit of distance. You see a bit of a fighting going on further back. But up towards the front, Logan Rumsey with a good run on the outside, but don't count out Tyler. He's looking for a good run now. Holding the high line up there, the 7, into the wall goes the 41. They're side by side for the lead, but it's going to be an easy pass.
So far now, as we see, Tyler Ducharme will take over the race lead, but here comes Rumsey with a head of steam on the outside of the racetrack. Jesse Dawkins now slides into second. He'll transfer so far. He has that spot, but here comes Rumsey for the crossover as they dive it into turns 1 and 2. Side by side, Rumsey tried to go for the lead, but could not make it work. Still hits the wall off turn 2.
Catches the wall. Now he's back to third. That 7 car slides into second, and contact between the 52 and 5 further back. This is music to the ears of Tyler.
Tyler Ducharme starts to pull away, has about a 4/10 of a second lead. The battle is for second place between Jesse Dawkins and Logan Rumsey. Dawkins holding on to that outside lane. Rumsey tries to follow in hot pursuit as they come across the line. As they come through turns 1 and 2, side by side, Rumsey, though, backs down and tries to see if he can get a run down the back straightaway.
Everyone is fighting for every inch on this racetrack. When I said more restraint, I guess I may have been wrong. Tyler up front, he's got a couple tenths, about half a second back to Dacus, but I don't think that battle is over.
You certainly is not as you ride on board with Rumsey as he comes through the middle of turns 3 and 4, tries to go to the high side, hits the wall just a tap, still scraping the wall off of turn number 4 as Ducharme is starting to pull away, and now we can see another driver getting into that top 3 spot. That's Carlin Cure in the 52 and Gage Stevens in the 40. They're going to go 3 wide for third place, but that just allows Jesse Dawkins to pull away.
Jesse now fighting for everything that he's got, and Tyler not too shabby himself. Now this 2-car breakaway up at the front. You see Logan Rumsey struggling a bit further back, and Matt Dixon as well. But these guys are fighting for every inch. White flag in the air.
White flag is in the air for Tyler Ducharme and Jesse Dawkins. Logan Rumsey having some difficult times out of turn number 4 for the final time. Tyler Ducharme, Jesse Dawkins will transfer to the feature race here tonight. Surprise, big interesting situation happening here tonight as Logan Rumsey, who is our pole sitter, does not qualify to the feature race, has to go through the alphabet soup, but Tyler Ducharme will take home the heat race 2 win, followed by Jesse Dawkins, Logan Rumsey, Matt Dixon, Carlin Cure, Gage Stevens in 6th, Bowen Smith 7th, Anthony Woodhull 8th, Vinny Sansone 9th, and Austin Griffey rounds out your top 10. Justin, Evan, that was a pretty good heat race we saw for heat race number 2, but it's time to get ready for heat race number 3.
Yes, indeed, and it's a stacked one to say the very least, because Adam Elby and Hayden Cardwell on the front row, two drivers who competed in the iRacing World of Outlaws Nostra Sprint Cars World Championship this past season. Michael Hallman starts in third position with Anthony Job for Elbows Up Simsport in fourth position. Billy Rowley joins them as well from the fifth position, with Jacob Hampton in sixth spot. Larry Moody, Brandon Steele, Jake Erickson, and Ben Kalen are the 10 drivers who are on the grid for heat number 3. We'd like to thank our presenting sponsors for tonight's action, AllStar Visuals, your home for high-quality graphic design and outstanding customer service. If you're looking for a new racing logo or hero cards, look no further. AllStar Visuals has you covered. For more information, visit facebook.com/AllStar Visuals today. Want to go signal on the racetrack this time by Evan, your thoughts so far on the night? Is there have already been several lines that have popped up for some of these drivers. The top line seems to be the dominant one, though.
And it's only going to get more, the way to go as this race goes on. But 2 heat races in, Justin, neither of the pole sitters for the first 2 heat races have been the ones to win them. So that could bode not that well for Adam Elby up top. Let's see what they got in store for heat race number 3.
Elby all set to control the field here. Green flag is out. Heat race 3 is underway, and a great start for Elby. He goes to the middle line to start. Hayden Cardwell goes all the way to the top line. Cardwell ripping the fence down the back straightaway. Billy Rowley already up to third position. He tries to block several lanes. He goes up to the top sides. They're side by side for the race lead nearly.
So all the way to the inside for Cardwell, trying to put a challenge on with Adam Elby for the race lead. Meanwhile, third, a crossover back to the bottom as Billy Rowley tries to get on through. It was an early botched move by Hellman that opened up that door. Up front, things will maintain. Elby still in front for the moment.
Still side by side up towards the front. Hayden Cardwell trying to rip the bottom line. Keep in mind that was one of his preferred lines when this series came here back last season. For the iRacing World of Outlaws Nostra Sprint Cars World Championship, he takes the lead of the strike.
A little bit of contact back in traffic. I think Larry Moody got a bit of a touch, but everybody up front still okay, and the inside is going to pay out. Now there's the chaos. A lot of bobbling for Moody back there. They're going to go 3 wide with both Kalen and Hampton at the back of the field. These drivers taking themselves out of the race up front as you look at the driver outside looking in, and it is a great fight from 1 and 2 up the road.
Back and forth now as they go into a slide jump out of the halfway mark. Hayden Cardwell hits the fence. He loses speed. He loses 0.7 of a second as a result. That drops him back into the midst of Billy Rowley. He is now within 1 second just about of the 0.7. Can Cardwell hold on? Can Billy Rowley close up the gap in 4 laps?
He's going to be running at a time real quickly, and another touch on into the outside wall. Big issues. And now Rowley's going to take over second as Cardwell's on his lid and out of this race.
And what a mistake by the iRacing World of Outlaws Morton Buildings late model world champion for 2020. He's now your first driver out of this heat. Coming up to 2 laps to go. Rowley now trying to defend as Brandon Steele tries to rip the fence behind him and closing in quick.
Steele's come out of nowhere, and Rowley now needs to do what the drivers in front of him did not do, and that is maintain mistake-free to the end of this one. Elby way out in front, no doubt. Here's to move to the inside for Steele, side by side to the white flag.
Final lap for heat number 3. Can Rowley hold on for one more set of corners? Steele trying to set things up. Behind by a few car lights. He goes to the bottom. Tries to think of the move. Not close enough. Adam Elby wins heat 3. Billy Rowley gets second. Those two will move on with Brandon Steele coming home in the 3rd position. 4th spot goes to Anthony Job with Michael Heilman in 5th position. Jake Erickson, Jacob Hampton rounds out the top positions along with Ben Kalen, Larry Moody, and Hayden Cardwell. Another mistake from one of our contenders for these races. Taylor, things have turned interesting to say the least tonight.
They certainly have. We'll have to see if that trend will continue as we work our way over to heat race number 4. And let's go ahead and give you a starting lineup for heat race number 4. Starting on the pole, Austin Simmelman, followed by Tyler Schell in 2nd place. Garrett Hosley will be starting in the 3rd position, followed by J.D. Brown in 4th. Emerson Axum will be starting in the 5th position, followed by Clayton Tilley in 6th. Trey Schmidt in 7th, with Ross Cronata in 8th. Dylan Thompson is 9th, and Nelson Webster rounds out your top 10. Jeff, we've been seeing a lot of issues for some of the biggest names currently this race season so far, with some issues in these seat races. What are some of these things that drivers such as Semmelman, Shell, JD, and even Garrett Hillsley need to realize in this heat race?
I think the most important thing for these guys to understand is that one bad lap can throw away the rest. It's 10 laps here in these heat races, but if you just mess up one of them, you catch the wall, you can flip these things over in no time at all. These are very light cars, very easy to flip over when you get in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I think that's the most important thing, is just mind yourself and be patient. It's better to sacrifice a tenth and lift off the throttle a little bit just so you're extra safe in case you accidentally hit the wall, because we've seen a lot of that tonight.
We certainly have. Will we see that here in heat race number 4? Well, we're about to find out. Pace truck lights are up, and we're about to go racing here for heat race number 4. Pace truck will peel down pit road, and we will see the green flag out. We are racing for heat race number 4. Austin Semmelman will be able to hold on to the race lead, but we will see Tyler Shell to the inside off turn number 2 as they go side by side down the back straightaway. Shell with a little bit of an advantage over Semmelman as they dive it into turns 3 and 4.
Side by side through 3 and 4, but that's not the case at the line. Shell takes the lead, and now you have Austin Semmelman defending, holding that 88 low, but now they're side by side down the backstretch. This is music to the ears of Tyler Shell. He's trying to get away here as he crosses the line.
He certainly is. Tyler Shell currently has the 6/10 of a second lead as they are running bottom of the racetrack right now. Your top 3, the first car on the top side is Clayton Tilley in that 51. You're on board with Selman as he tries to dive it to the inside of Garrett Holsey, but still side by side for seconds to come across the line. Contact between the two.
And they both hold on to it. Can you believe it? Still side by side, but give Austin Semmelman the spot. Tyler Shell is pulling further and further away. A 14-0 that last time right there, a 13-9.
Tyler Shell grinning from ear to ear, knowing if he keeps up this pace, he is guaranteed a spot into the feature race here tonight. Austin Selman trying to hold on and see if he can maintain his second place. Meanwhile, Emerson Axum going to the very top side of the racetrack to try to see if he can make up ground on the 88 of Garrett Holsey as they come off turn number 2, but it's going to be to no avail. Your top 2 is held by Shell and Semmelman.
Shell now coming to the line, and way far back is Austin Semmelman. He's now gotten clear of Garrett Holsey, but that doesn't mean he's really safe as he bobbles. There goes Holsey. Now he's here with a run, looking right on the back bumper. Gives a tap. Doesn't work out too well, though. Now they're coming back to the line.
Coming to the line right now, it is going to be lap 8 of 10. We are going to be seeing 3 laps to go, coming to 2 laps to go here. Tyler Shell holding strong over the rest of the field, has checked out to about a 2.7 second lead. 2 laps to go right now as they come across the line. Semmelman has to try to hold off Garrett Holsey.
And that's going to be a tall order for him because Holsey is waiting. He is waiting for just one small mistake, one little bobble, anything to take advantage of. He's been picture perfect throughout this race, minus getting into the back bumper, but he's looking strong here.
It is. Well, right now the white flag is out for Tyler Shell. He's coming in the middle of turns 3 and 4 all by his lonesome. Actually closing in on lap traffic. Tyler Shell will win heat race number 4, and Austin Semmelman will transfer to the feature race here tonight. Great racing here for heat race number 4. Here's your top 10 results. Tyler Shell is your winner, followed by Austin Semmelman. Those 2 will transfer to the feature race. Garrett Holsey, Emerson Axum in 3rd and 4th with Clayton Tilley 5th. Trace Smith is 6th with Dylan Thompson 7th. Ross Cornata in 8th with JD Brown 9th. Nelson Webster rounds out your top 10. Justin, this race was a little bit more tame compared to some of the other ones that we've seen, but still very exciting for that final transfer spot battle.
Especially with the bottom line starting to work its way in, but a little history for you. Did you know that David Holman, who will be starting the outside for this run, had started on the front row with Tim Ryan for both the previous Eldora races? He'll start second in this heat alongside Bryce Lucius. Kevin Hebert starts in 3rd position. Rylan Gray, the youngster, starts in 4th with Mick Bonneau in 5th position. Matt Yorker starts in 6th with Trevor Frank and Sean Timmerman rounding up the top 8 starting positions. Trey Galvin along with Olivier Circus rounding out the 10 drivers in this respective heat. I'd like to remind you of your presenting sponsors for tonight, Oceanic Dirt Sim Events. The Australian iRacing League specializes in dirt events. For more information, visit Oceanic_dirt_sim_events on Instagram today. Want to go signal on the racetrack this time by an Evan? Seems things are getting a little bit interesting now. The bottom line is starting to develop. Your thoughts here as we get ready for heat number 5 with a very worked-in track.
You thought maybe at this point they'd already be going all the way up to the outside, right? So that's been fun to look at. Also, all your pro and world championship drivers are batting under 500 so far. We've seen 10 of them. Only 4 have made the feature so far. We're going to have a lot of stacked races later on.
It's going to be fun for the Alphabet to say the very least as Bryce Lucius hits the gas pedal. We're underway for heat number 5. He starts off on the bottom line, trying to gain some momentum as they go 2-3 wide behind him. Trying to fan things out. David Holloman trying to rip the top. Hebert trying to rip the bottom line. Pinot trying to join him as several drivers now starting a conga line up top.
Now's the tough call for Lucius here. Do you stay on the bottom or do you go to the outside to defend? Because here comes a big run, and it's David Helleman up top, side by side now for the race lead. Can he pull out a 4? Lucius sticking to the inside. What does that 49 have?
Helleman, the Holomaniac, trying to cut through as your biggest mover, Sean Timmerman. He makes contact with Hebert, trying to move his way on forward. By the way, he is looking for a new team. How about ways to pop up by going to the front here?
And Lucius just now decides to go to the outside. He falls from 1st to 4th early. More issues as he tapped the fence that time at a 2. So Rylan Gray takes over the number 2 spot. He's at a transfer spot, and Sean Timmerman on the bumper, but he's out of control off of 4.
That's after Gray tapped the wall. Now Timmerman's losing some momentum. More contact. Lucius gets spun around in the middle of the pack. Sean Timmerman collected. They wreck down the back straightaway. Hebert spins out. The rest of the field moves on forward as that moves Gray into the bubble spot. David Holloman still in control at halfway.
We just haven't seen drivers be able to get away with those kind of mistakes tonight. You've had to be perfect in these heat races thus far to make the show. And a tough case there. Timmerman, Hebert, Lucius, all big names from the top 5 out of this heat race with still over 4 laps to go in this time through now. And all of a sudden, your top 3, Justin, spread apart here. Looks like Gray's focus needs to be clean to the end of this one.
Especially since he's made contact a couple times with that wall. Can he keep it off the wall for the next 2.5 laps is the big question. Separation between first and second, 1.1 seconds, and growing. Another 10th lost off the corner. Gray still, however, holds on to the bubble spot by 6/10. It is Trevor Frank who is closing surely but slowly for the final lap and a half.
And doing everything he can. Let's see if he decides to maybe go offline here. We saw a handful of other drivers try that with white flag in the air.
Final lap for heat number 5 as Frank, he's closed in 6/10 in a couple laps. He goes for the slide. Holloman moves on, but second spot is ripped back by Gray at the stripe. Gray with the crossover, able to beat Trevor Frank to get the second transfer spot. How about that? What a move by Rylan Gray as Trevor Frank is the first driver out. Also moving on to the Alphabet is Pinot, Galgan, Yorker, along with Suris, Hebert, Lucius, and Timmerman among your drivers in heat number 5. Taylor, over to you and Jeff.
And now it is time for the final heat race here tonight. And starting on the pole for heat race number 6, Kevin Hanley, followed by Rico Robles in second. Aiden Berlin will be starting in third, followed by Jacob Denny in fourth. John Fowle in fifth. Dustin Hall in sixth, followed by Craig Silby, seventh. Tyler LaPointe in eighth, with Loic Berner in ninth. Wayne Rick riding shotgun in 10th. Jeff, very exciting races since the drop of the green flag for heat race number 1. And here we are on the last heat race here tonight. And gotta say, this is going to be one of the classes to watch right here, as a lot of these drivers are seeing what they can do to showcase their talent and possibly one day be a future world championship contender.
Absolutely, that's certainly on the line, but the number one thing that I noticed coming into this session is as the races went on, you saw one person sort of move their way up to the top. Then you saw 2, then 3, then 5. Now, I think we're going to see everyone migrate up to the top as soon as possible. I would expect to see Kevin Hanley jump the start here, get out to the front, and get up to the top as soon as he can.
Certainly can be the case, as we'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to hold on here for 10 laps, as the pace car will lead them around here. We should be going green flag racing next time by here. And then we will start the alphabet soup. Of course, these heat races features are to move on to the feature race, and then of course in the mains alphabet soup, 4 drivers from each of those mains will consistently work their way up through the field before they get to the B main, where the top 8 will transfer, and then of course finally our feature race here tonight. as the pace truck will lead them down the back straightaway here. Of course, here at Eldora, it's always very exciting. We used to see, of course, World of Outlaws always comes to Eldora, and of course, Camping World Truck Series, and then used to be here, and then also the SRX will be here later in 2021. So very exciting. But now the pace truck goes off, and the green flag is out for heat race number 6. Kevin Hanley will get out to a quickly lead as they now go 3 wide for the second spot. Out of turn number 2 is going to be, looks like Aiden Berlin, who will take that second spot, but he wants more. Dives to the inside to the middle of turns 3 and 4. New race leader, can he hold on off turn 2? Cars going up on the wall.
He's got the lead and back in second place. Wow, look at that Kevin Hanley machine rip the outside. These guys are giving it everything they've got. Aiden Berlin looking very quick out there. Obabo holds on to it. He crosses the line.
Aiden Berlin holds on to the top side of the racetrack as they go through turns 1 and 2. Hanley still holds on in second, but has Jacob Denny and Justin Hall in hot pursuit down the back straightaway. Into turn 3, you see the top 2 running that outside line. Denny following, but we see Hall running that middle to bottom lane here as they go 3 wide for a brief moment and for second. Off turn number 2, though, Hanley will hold on.
Jacob Denny is really trying to hold on to that car. I think we're going to see him pull a slide job here soon. Just dive that car to the bottom and slide up in front of the car ahead of him. That's what you got to do. But man, it can get very, very scary if you mess that up. And Kevin Hanley knows that move is coming right here.
Here he comes, slide job right there. Here comes the crossover. Hanley still maintains the second position as they come out across the start-finish line, halfway around as they continue on. Aiden Berlin, though, smiling from ear to ear. 1.2 second lead as here comes Hanley once again.
Tries it once, doesn't work. Tries it twice, another close call. How about a third time for Jacob Denny all the way down the bottom, catches the inside wall. That's going to hurt his run a lot. Give Dustin Hall an opportunity here. Let's see if he's within striking distance. Right now, though, doesn't look like it. Jacob Denny is driving the absolute wheels off of that car.
He certainly is. Kevin Hanley, though, still trying to maintain his spot and holds on for dear life as they come to turn 3 and 4. Big send for Jacob Denny, side by side off turn number 4. Here they come across the start-finish line. Hanley still holds on as we are now approaching 2 laps to go this time around. Berlin still holds on by about 2 seconds. He's coming out of turn number 4. White flag in the air.
Grab your stamp book and give it to Jacob Denny. He is sending it here. One more time. He's going to slide down to the bottom. Doesn't have the momentum to get the pass done. I don't think he's quite finished. Coming to the line on lap number 10. He doesn't have it. But man, what a great battle. Oh, I say that, and he's got a good run off the corner. But second place will not be his. That goes to Kevin Hanley.
Great battle here for heat race number 6. Great way to cap off all the heat races here tonight. Aiden Berlin will come home and win the heat race, followed by Kevin Hanley, who will transfer to the feature race. Jacob Denny, he's got to go through alphabet soup, but he's got a strong car. Keep an eye out for him. Dustin Hall in 4th with Craig Silby 5th. Loic Berner in 6th, followed by Wayne Rick 7th. Rico Robles 8th with Tyler LaPointe in 9th. John Fowle, he's got to go through alphabet soup as well, Justin. And speaking of alphabet soup, I hope you're hungry because we are about to start the E-main.
Yes, indeed. And it's Ross Cornia starting the field off with Kevin Hubert among the drivers who had some close battles in the respective heats. Starting the outside front row is Rico Robles in 3rd position, Grayson Springer in 4th. Vinny Sansone coming off a strong run last round at USA starts 5th, with Larry Moody in 6th. JD Hollywood Brown starts in 7th, Bryce Lucius in 8th. Rounding out your top 10 event is Tyler LaPointe, Jeffrey Stewart.
Continuing on through round number 6, you're going to have Austin Griffey alongside Hayden Cardwell through positions 11 and 12, along with Elson Webster and Sean Timmerman. And at the very back of the pack, going to be John Fall inside row number 8.
That's a look at your starting grid for the 12 laps up on the board for the E-main. Remember, the top 4 move on to the D-main. And keep in mind, there has been a track reset, so it is a nice and clean racetrack, meaning that top line could come into play. But we've seen how aggressive some of the racing can be in some of these heats. With 4 positions on the line just to have the chance to go through the alphabet, we may see a lot more aggression as we've seen all season so far, Evan.
is definitely a case, and that bottom hasn't been awful, right? Some drivers have been better down there than others. We've seen them walk that line and sometimes step over it with some of the big names up front, getting into the inside wall and wrecking out of some of those heat races. The margin for error is a little bit bigger. You know, in the heat races, it was 2 to get to the feature. Here, it is the top 4 to move on to the D main, but there are more drivers, right? 15 total allowed to grid. Looks like we'll have about 12 when the green flag drops on this one. So maybe that'll affect how these drivers strategize. Those heats were messy. Let's see how it goes down in the E main.
Keeping my eye on Hayden Cardwell at the back of the field in particular after his incident. They're already bumping and banging behind the iRacing pace truck. As the E main is all set to go, green flag is out. We're underway once more for Eldora. Cornado with a good launch as they all work their way through the multiple different grooves. Many to the bottom. Contact in the heart of the pack already as Larry Moody and several others get shuffled about. The rest of the field moves its way down the bottom 2 grooves for the end of the first lap.
And 3 wide, back of the pack, more contact now, and a wreck as John Fall gets taken out of this one early. You're on board with J.D. Brown on the inside, trying to fight up. You got the 7, and now looking off of the back now, a Vinny Sansone. Right now, 4th and 5th, this is the battle for the transfer spot.
The orange number 80 now working his way into the battle for 3rd position to try and get a bit of a buffer. The D1 RT Racing Machine side by side now with Rico Robles. Robles with the better run. Down the bottom side goes Sansone, still back and forth for 3rd position down the back straightaway. The Slick Sim Sport Machines now joining the fray though. Brown trying to work on the bottom. Cardwell trying to work his way up to the top line of the fight.
He's already blitzed his way through the field. Now will slice back down to the inside as Cardwell wants to make moves from the back to nearly the front already. Contact there as he shoves him out of the way.
That moves Sansone to 3rd position and Cardwell to 4th, but J.D. Brown trying to think about 3 wide, stays 2 wide for 3rd position. Cardwell tries to slide his way clear. Sansone makes contact, moves him out of the way. Brown moves up the spot at halfway.
It's not figurative, it's literal. Caldwell is pushing his way through the field from the back half to 3rd. Only 7 laps into this one. Sansone still on the hot seat. J.D. Brown working the bottom. These 2 have kept it clean for the time being. How long does that last, though? Sansone better up top for the moment. He'll take 4th as Brown keeps looking on the bottom. Now Tyler LaPointe wants to join the mix. He rides right now, P6.
Right now, those separations just about 7/10 of a second, but the bubble is still held on by Sansone. Cardwell is pulled away in 3rd. The battle for the lead is bumper to bumper for the final couple laps, though. Hubert pressurizing the 10 machine up towards the front, and lap traffic is ahead. John Fall is right ahead of your race leaders.
And is he going to be a factor now as Hornet tries to look to the inside to make sure this isn't going to be a factor? Hubert, Cardwell, Sansone still your top 4, and there's a look off of the back of John Fall as they will work through him on the bottom, and that should give your leaders plenty of time to work. He'll squeeze out Hubert there, so it is going to slow down the 71 just a tad at 1 to go.
Final lap of the E-Main as Cardwell now gets held up, but the battle for the transfer still separated by a few car lengths. They work their way around the traffic. Moving on is Corniana, Hubert, Cardwell, and Sansone. They'll continue their trek through the alphabet. As a result of their finishes, J.D. Brown finishes in 5th position, while 6 spots goes to LaPointe. Griffey, Moody, Springer, John Fowler, the first driver, 1 lap down. Lucius and Robles also made the start. They were several laps down. The rest of the field did not take to the green flag for the E-Main. That brings us into the D-Main. And those drivers we just seen will have to shuffle away from the back of our D-Main. It'll be Matt Yorker, though, who brings them to the green flag for the D-Main, with Bernier in 2nd position. It's Burkhart and Smith in row 2, with row 3 featuring Hampton and Dylan Thomas. It was B, Sirius, and Rick in row 4. How about Alex Bergeron, though, in row 5? Evan, he'll be alongside Anthony Woodhull.
And it's going to be a hard barrier for these drivers transferring from the E-Main to get through, right? You got Ben Collin, and it is Ross Carenta outside row number 6 and 12, who leads the way, along with Kevin Hubert, Hayden Caldwell, and Vinny Sansone. Can those back 4 continue their charge to the feature race and get through the D-Main?
Now keep in mind, attrition has always been big when it comes to the D-Main 2 for the first couple races so far. If you are one of the drivers towards the back, how would you play this, Evan, to try and get there smartly and cleanly?
Well, I was going to say try to keep it clean, right? Maybe go to the bottom if there's more cars up top, right? Try to go where the traffic isn't, but I honestly don't know if that's a feasible strategy with a 12-lap D main, right? That is not a lot of time, and there are a lot of race cars ahead of you that you need to get by. We know what Hayden Cardwell's going to do because he shoved everybody out of his way in the E main to get to a transfer spot. I would not be shocked if that's going to be the same strategy here.
Right now, Hayden Cardwell among the drivers, starting 14th position from Knoxville, Tennessee, of course, a real-world racer as well for the past almost year or so, where he worked on late model racing. There's already contact, though, between him and Vinny Sansone. Those drivers appear to have no damage, however, as the pace truck is all set to go for tonight's D-Main. It'll be Yorker in control of the field. It will be Bernier to his outside as the iRacing pace truck is off. Green flag is out. We're underway once more from Eldora. Bernier with a slow start, already near 3 wide for second position. 3 wide, making near 4 wide for fourth position. Here comes the run on the outside from Smith. A strong start for him, an even stronger start for Bergeron, already up to 6th.
Outside was the place to be in the E-main, and it looks like that the 2 with Smith there knows that. On board with Cardwell, though. He's not making moves early. The 31 of Oliver Stroyce gets around him for the moment, and a spin and a flip. Big mass early in this D-main. A handful of cars get shuffled out. Yorker and Hampton to maintain, and Bergeron to 3rd in the blink of an eye.
That was Bernier, as Kalen along with Hall also involved in some trouble. The rest of the field, A-OK for now. The battle for the final transfer spot is on, though. Hebert getting some contact. He's put up in the fence. He flies up against the wall. That moves Smith up into 4th position for now. Lots of physical contact early on in this D-main.
It was quite the slide by Hebert to get the spot, but you could see Bowen Smith went back down to the inside on him. They touched slightly, and that was enough to do the job. 3 wide with lap traffic down the back and into turns 3 and 4. And now you can see off of the back of Vinny Sansone. He was at the very back of the grid. He's in 4th, but he'll get touched and turned. What a save. How much speed is left in that car?
Able to straighten things back out as Cardwell. He's all the way back in 6th position. The bubble spot is now between Vinny Sansone and Dylan Thomas. Big send by Sansone. We're just halfway through the steam main. More physical contact. A bit of a squeeze from Dylan Thomas. Thomas now moves himself to 4th. Sansone trying to set himself for the slide as Cardwell approaches.
Thomas is the bubble. Sansone, big slide job at 1 and 2, but Dylan Thomas saw it coming, went back down to the inside, and took that spot back. They are full tilt for 4th and 5th position. Sansone for a moment has the spot, a slide, and he'll get roughed up and out of the way by Dylan Thomas. Here comes Cardwell into P5 and all the way to 4th.
Keep in mind that the battle for the race lead is also on, where Bergeron and Yorker are continuing to go back and forth. Bergeron has taken now the race lead after some slide jobs with Yorker. But that battle for the transfer spot continues to stay hotly contested with 2 laps to go. Cardwell is now in the 4th position.
And they were fighting each other for 4th and 5th. Oh, and Sansone's going to take him out. Sansone and Thomas into the wall, and it is left all for Hayden Cardwell, up 10 spots at the white flag.
And with a 4-second cushion, it's just a matter of making it to the checkered. Same can be said for Alex Bergeron. He'll lock his ticket into the C-Main. He wins the D-Main over Matt Yorker, Cornata, and Cardwell. Those drivers move on, and man, oh man, Sirius Woodhull, the first drivers out in what was a physical one. Wayne Rick finishes in 7th. Dylan Thomas, Vinny Sansone, Jacob Hampton, Bowden Smith, Hebert, Kalen, and Bernier all do not finish this respective D-Main. Wow, oh wow, Evan, what an exciting one.
And we've got 2 drivers from the E-Main still alive there, JP. Carinthia and Cardwell have both made it through the opening 2. Not without consequences. Big names have dropped out already, and they're only half of the way there to get into tonight's feature.
Yes, indeed. We'll turn things over for the C and B mains now to Taylor. He'll be with Evan Pizzoco and Jeff McConey the rest of the way. Taylor?
Thank you, Justin, and we are about to get started with the C main here. And gentlemen, we got ourselves a great starting lineup. Dustin Hall will be on the pole, followed by Eric Wilkie in 2nd. Carlin Cure will be starting 3rd with Mitchell Heilman in 4th. Clayton Tilley will be starting 5th with Trey Galgone in 6th. Craig Silvey 7th, Eddie Hartley 8th. 9th is Gage Stevens, and Jake Erickson rounds out your 10. Evan.
And then you're going to find the drivers with work to do, right? Trey Schmidt going to start in 11th position, and then your transfers from the last one. Alex Bergeron, Matt Yorker, Ross Carenta, and Hayden Cardwell with the work to do. We saw how crazy that previous race the D-Main got and how many drivers from the back of the field, Taylor, were able to get their way through the field. So never say never, but it's always a tall order.
It certainly is. Of course, Bergeron's going to see if he can make his way all the way to the feature race, but Jeff, we have a little bit of work to do, as well, along with Hayden Cardwell. But who are some drivers who are up towards the front of the field you'll be watching?
Carlin Kieran raced very hard, and Dustin Hall is another driver that I'm going to be keeping my eye on up there. Those guys were both very quick, very consistent. I think we're going to see some good racing here, though. Don't count out Eric Wilk. He is going to be very quick up on that top side. We'll have to see what his game plan is, though. Remember, top 4 advance this time, though, so that's where that bubble spot is. 4th place is the last one in.
4th spot, 1 through 4 is the golden ticket as the pace car goes down pit road. Green flag at that, a little bit of check up towards the back half of the field, but it is going to be side by side for the race lead. Dustin Hall will get the race lead as they come off turn number 2. Wilkie, though, looks on. Contact towards the back half of the field as cars are flying, trying to get themselves organized as we watch to see the chaos that ensues.
On more contact, a lot of 3 and 4 wide mid-pack as everybody tries to sort themselves out. Hall establishes an early race lead, but other than that, who knows what's going on to mid-pack. 3 wide again in 3 and 4. This is all just on the doorstep of the bowl. Your top 4 have straightened it out. 5th on back is a melee.
Hayden Cardwell from dead last just about, Jeff, to 3rd place in just 3 laps. That is what we call dominant. A very consistent driver, as we watch on and see. Bergeron just moved up to 7th, so he still has a little bit of work to do, but still has time.
Still time to do it, but these drivers up towards the front are starting to get crazy. Hayden Cardwell making that outside work. He's there. He makes the pass look easy for 2nd place, carrying that momentum up on the high side. He is long gone. That leaves Carlin Cure now up on the outside. He gets contact up and over the fence. Man, he is gone out of here.
And with that, he will join the Podium eSports Space Administration with that takeoff. As we watch and see still the battle for the race lead as Eric Wilkie, Hayden Cardwell will do battle for that top spot here for the C main as they work their way out of turn number 2. They kind of separate themselves a little bit right now. Eddie Hartley, now Alex Bergeron moves up to that 4th spot. So we have our 2 drivers that we watched all race long finally in the final transfer spots.
I was about to say the one guy I don't want on my gearbox is Alex Bergeron, and I think Eddie Hartley overthinked that a little bit, put it into the outside wall in 1 and 2, and just handed it to the 12 car on a silver platter. So Bergeron now the bubble driver. It looks like Hartley doing a pretty good job of hanging with them, but up the road as things start to space out with 3 laps to go this time by. I don't think you're going to get another mistake out of them. We'll see if Hartley decides to go offline. Meanwhile, a challenge for 2nd. Tilly's thinking about wanting 1 more from Cardwell.
He certainly does. Of course, with that 1 extra spot, that's 1 less car he has to pass when he gets to the B main later on here after they complete here. He tries to send a big send, almost hits the wall off turn 4, but is able to still hold on to that 3rd spot as Alex Bergeron starts to gain a little bit of ground, 0.8 of a second back between him and Tilly.
Some mayhem up towards the front has really settled down here, but Hayden Cardwell, no one's told him that he is working the bottom. We've seen him up at the top. Now he's going for the lead, not quite the slide job yet, but he's going to run that bottom line and try and find a bit of momentum. There it is. He's got a contact with the 41. There he goes around and he saves it. My goodness.
What a save right here as we have seen the 4 drivers who will transfer to the B main. Hayden Cardwell will get the win, followed by Eric Wilkie 2nd, Clayton Tilley in 3rd, Alex Bergeron will move on to the B main. As for Eddie Hartley and Jake Erickson, Trey Smith, Gage Stevenson, Craig Stilvey, and Dustin Hall, the rest of your top 10, Aiden, their chances are done.
Yeah, it's tough for them. They'll go home, and, you know, the likes of Benoit and everybody else now going to find themselves back foot as we head into the next one. I said that Cardwell was not afraid of contact, guys. I've been saying it all night long, and you saw it right there in the final set of corners. He wanted the win in that one. He wants his best spot possible, and it'll help him out here.
Certainly will, as we now see Rusty Kruger starting on the pole for the B main, followed by Logan Rumsey in second place. Brandon Steele will start third, followed by Garrett Halsey in fourth. Trevor Franks in fifth, followed by Jacob Denny in the sixth position. Zachary Bolliard will be starting in seventh with Matt Dixon eighth. Anthony Job is ninth, and Emerson Axum will round out your top 10.
And Benoit is going to be there, as I mentioned, on the inside of row 6. And then it is Hayden Cardwell rolling from position 12, along with Eric Wilkie, Clayton Tilley, and Alex Bergeron, your transfers from the C main.
Jeff, probably going to be the biggest shows to watch for this B main. Alex Bergeron, Hayden Cardwell, to see what they can do. We saw Cardwell in 2 laps get inside the top 4. Bergeron took a little bit longer, but still managed to fight his way to that final transfer spot. What can we expect to see here for this B main before we get to the feature?
I think we're going to see Hayden Cardwell unleashed once again. Now remember, it's the top 8 that transfer here, not the top 4 anymore. The top 8 will all transfer to the feature. So Hayden Cardwell only needs 4 spots, but do you really think he's going to settle with only 4?
Certainly is not. Of course, the last 2 winners we've had so far for this season are those who are sitting in 12th and 15th. Hayden Cardwell took home the win of the season opener, while Alex Bergeron was the last time who won at USA International. So great job from these drivers here, and we will about to see what will happen here. The pace car takes the hard left turn down pit road. Green flag is out. We are underway for the B main here tonight as the field starts to go 4 and 5 wide through turns 1 and 2. Contact all over off turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, Rusty Kruger still holds on to the race lead with Logan Rumsey watching on in second as they have a 3-car battle for the race lead.
And it is 4 wide mid-pack, and that's close to the transfer, as you guys mentioned, all the way down to the top 8 for this B main. Some 3 wide in the mix, the likes of Frank, Denny, and Briard, some of these other drivers in the mix now off of the top, and they're going to have to get everything they can early moves for the back of the field. Cardwell, a little bit more difficult of a time this time, but we saw the last few times around.
Alex Bergeron is also another driver struggling, still sitting in that 13th spot. His cars are going around. Oh, big contact and a close call for Bergeron as he nearly gets nicked off of turn 4. He will move up to that 8th spot. Anthony Job sits 9th. Hayden Cardwell has moved up to the 6th spot.
You know, you mentioned earlier, Evan, that they were 4 wide. Who do you think was down there at the bottom making something happen? None other than Hayden Cardwell. He has fought all the way up to 6th, and he is absolutely flying. But Rusty Kruger, he's still out front, and he's crossing the line and pulling away a little bit, it looks like.
He certainly is right now. Rusty Kruger has about a 0.3 of a second lead over Logan Rumsey. Garrett Halsey is going to be the driver who will be battling Rumsey for that 2nd spot as they come off turn number 4. We are approaching the halfway point this time around, so we are going to see 6 laps to go as they work their way down the back straightaway. Hayden Cardwell has moved up to the 4th position. Bergeron moves to 7th.
And Trevor Frank's not done yet because now he's under fire by Jacob Denny and on board with Alex Bergeron in 7th. So Denny rides 5th at the moment. Frank down to P6. I'll tell you what, the number 21 team down to 6 now. They're trailing. They'll squeeze back on the outside to maintain P5 for the moment. The P8 is not that far behind, and they are all over Frank and company.
They certainly are currently. Emerson Axum holds on to that final transfer spot in that number 42 as he works his way off turn number 4, trying to hold off Anthony Job and Clayton Tilley as the car goes a little bit slow. That looks like to be one of the lap cars, so he'll continue on his way. But Rusty Kruger, Logan Rumsey will start to get a little bit closer for those two as they'll battle it out. Rumsey to the inside off turn 2.
Rumsey looking low, but he doesn't have the run quite yet. Rusty Kruger now goes down to the bottom, slides it up to the top. He is blocking, making that car 5 lanes wide and quick, and all of them. The 41 gives him a tap to the back bumper and says, not happening today. Logan Rumsey now to the lead, but doesn't slide up in front. He's now down on the bottom. Rusty Kruger up on top. There goes Rumsey to the top and Kruger to the bottom. They are still fighting for the lead.
And with that checker flag, it is out, and Logan Rumsey will take home the win here for the B main, as we will now take a look at who will transfer to the big show here at Eldora. Logan Rumsey will win the B main, followed by Rusty Kruger in 2nd, Garrett Halsey in 3rd, with Hayden Cardwell coming home in 4th. Alex Bergeron 5th, followed by Jacob Denny 6th. Trevor Franks is 8th, and then Emerson Axum will be moving on to the A main. The first car that will be eliminated, Clayton Tilley and Anthony Job, rounds out your top 10.
In 11th, Eric Wilkie comes home, and he's not going to make it on. Michael Bonnell behind him. Matt Dixon in 13th. Zachary Ballard in 14th. And Brandon Steele rounds out the field 9 laps down in 15th.
And as the field now gets ready for warm-up here, before we get ready for our 35-lap feature race, gentlemen, very exciting racing since the start of the heat races now, but it's time for the big boys to play, and we're going to be seeing a lot of great action. What is your thoughts, Evan, before we go green flag racing?
Well, I was looking to see if we were going to have any big surprises, right? The likes of Cardwell, the likes of Bergeron, who weren't able to get the job done in their heat races, right? And despite having the kind of worst end of the straw and starting all the way back, even in the E main, those two drivers were able to get all the way through. In the case of Hardwell, Bergeron came in the D main there and made the show. So I think if they're in this race for this 35-lap feature.
They certainly are. Well, it is time that we get ready for the feature race. And now, we will give you your top 20 starting lineup here for the big show. On the pole position here tonight is Hayden Harvey in the number 55. Alongside him will be Tyler Ducharme in the number 25. In the second row, third position is Adam Elby, followed by Tyler Schell in 4. Fifth position will go to David Heileman, and then Aiden Berlin will round out your top 6. Moving on to 7th is Jeremy St. Louis. 8th is Jesse Dawkins. Following in 9th is Billy Rowley, and Austin Simmelman will round out your top 10.
And then Rylan Gray is going to be on the inside of row 6. That'll be 11th spot alongside Kevin Hanley, who starts this one in the number 12 position. Logan Rumsey inside of row 7 alongside with Rusty Kruger. Row 8 will see Garrett Hulsey and Hayden Cardwell. Row number 9, Alex Bergeron and Jacob Denny. And with all the work to do at the very back of the field, Trevor Frank in 19th and Emerson Axum in 20th.
As we see the fireworks aglow, it is time for probably one of the greatest shows on the virtual dirt track of Eldora Speedway. Of course, to let everyone know for tonight's race here for the feature race, caution flags will not count. Only green flag laps will count for this 35-lap feature race. As you see the fireworks go off here. But gentlemen, we're about to see some fireworks out on the dirt track here at Eldora. Jeff, final thoughts before we go racing.
Keep a camera on Hayden Cardwell. That's going to be the most important thing, because he is going to be tearing his way through the field. We've seen it all throughout the night. Worked his way up through the alphabet suit. Starting in 16th, I think he's going to be running top 5 within, I'm going to say, the first 5 laps. That guy is really tearing it up and making something happen. Keep a camera on him.
We will certainly do. Of course, cameras are provided by the great Dougie Beard. And of course, for all of those who are wondering, Justin Prince was with us earlier. I am Taylor Burris. Of course, Evan Pasoko, the voice of the eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series. And Jeff McConey, of course, from McConey Setup Shop. We are about to go back green flag racing here at Eldora. And we have great racing already starting off as we're going to go 4 wide in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Here we see Hayden Harvey now try to hold on to the race lead. But here comes Tyler Ducharme for the second place slide job out of turn 4. But no avail. Hayden Harvey leads lap number 1.
Wanted to go for the race lead. Instead, it'll put Ducharme down in 4th as LB and Shell were both able to get on by. Now he'll fight back down the backstretch on turn 2 for 20 cars. Not that bad with 2 laps down.
Here they come out of front straightaway into turns 1 and 2. Hayden Harvey has checked out to about a 7/10 of a second lead as the car is around. That looks like to be Jesse Dawkins, who is going up and over, as well as another driver. That looks like to be, as we get a little bit of a better look, I might have between
Emerson
right
Axum. Emerson went around.
As Emerson Axum, who also transferred from the B main here to have a shot at it, is also going to go end over in, and Jesse Dawkins goes for a wild ride. I got to say, I would not want to be on a motion rake for one of those 2 drivers by how violently they were crashing here at Eldora.
Dude, I've seen a wreck, by the way, with somebody in the motion rig, and it does not look like a fun time. And the way that these sprint cars can get upside down so easy, there's the touch there. So really 2 separate incidents, right? We saw the main issue for Dawkins, and then there was a bit of help on that other piece of contact.
Certainly is, as we keep an eye and see currently right now, as we keep an eye on the rest of the field that gets their way going. It is going to be, as we wait for timing and scoring, as Dawkins and Emerson are going to go down pit road.
Yeah, Hayden Harvey, I think, it'll end up as the leader in this one. LB, Ducharme, Shell, and Heileman, the top 5. that was all open, guys. I mean, we saw the big slide that first time through. You know, you saw the attempt by Ducharme, almost went to the race lead. At one point, fell all the way down to position number 4. Those guys up front did a real good job of keeping it clean. Again, it is a much longer race, but, you know, 35 laps, a little bit longer than what we saw out of the feature last week. But, you know, certainly it isn't all the time in the world, and you can see that sense of urgency all throughout the field. You know, the big names we think we're going to have to look for. Cardwell didn't do a ton on that first green flag run, so that's an important note. Alex Bergeron leapfrogged him, so Bergeron on the doorstep right there in P10.
Certainly is so, but now we're about to go back green flag racing here. Hayden Harvey will lead him to the green flag once again as the green flag is out. We're back underway here at Eldora. Big send right now for Tyler Ducharme, who tried to make it work, but now as we get the field settled out, it's going to be Adam Elby in that second spot. Tyler Schell will slot up to that third position.
Some craziness a little bit further back, and now Hayden Cardwell up and around. Oh boy, another wreck occurs right at the start-finish line. I think they'll be able to continue. Yep, they're all rolling, and as you see on your screen, they are quite literally rolling.
Rolling end over end, back on 4 wheels to continue on their way, but a tough break for Hayden Cardwell, who had one of the best cars all night long. Just had nowhere to go, making hard contact with multiple cars, and he's going to come down pit road, and it's safe to say his night is done.
It's going to be a tough pill to swallow for how hard he had to work too to get into this feature, to get taken out like that. As you mentioned, no fault of his own. The contact happens up the road here at a turn 4 right there, and then he just plows right into them, and that's where that incident comes from. So started up inside of the top 10 or so, and then there was just nowhere for Cardwell to go, and there's the touch as those two get hung up, and there's a huge hit there, and that's how you saw the flipping car come into the mix there, as most of the drivers involved just arrived on that scene after it happened.
Certainly so, as right now we have 3 cars down on pit road. Hayden Cardwell, Emerson Axum, and Jesse Dawkins. Most likely their days will be done here tonight at Eldora, as Hayden Harvey, Adam Elby, Tyler Schell, your top 3. Field is now getting ready to go back single file, and Jeff, we're hopefully going to try to get a little bit of a longer green flag run this time by, as the pace car lights are off.
Yeah, I've got everything crossed, fingers, toes, arms, legs, my eyes, everything crossed, that we get some green flag racing here, because when these guys are keeping it clean, man, it's been crazy, it's been intense. There's been a lot of really good moves all throughout the field. There's nowhere that has any dull action. So right now, getting ready to come back to the green flag here. I got a good feeling about this one.
Pace truck will make the hard left turn out of harm's way before we see these cars go back at it once again. It's going to be 30 laps to go, and they're already going to try to go 4 wide before they even take the green flag. Green flag is back out. Hayden Harvey is going to try and check out, but under heavy pressure from Adam Elby. Tyler Schell tries to go to the top side, but can't quite make it stick. Here comes Elby to the inside, pulls the slide job. Will it stick? So far, no. Crossover by Harvey. Harvey will lead that lap.
Second time in a row we've seen Harvey come under fire, but anticipate that and cross it back over. So well done for the 55 machine. Schell holds second for the moment, but now he'll be under fire as Elby comes back down now on the inside. And here comes Alex Bergeron on the outside, looking up to Tyler Ducharme.
Here comes Bergeron now up to 4th, now 5th. He's going to try to go 3 wide down the back straightaway. He's going to have Heilemann as well as Ducharme right there on his outside. He dives into the inside. Here comes a big send by Ducharme to the inside of Bergeron. Move him up to the P5.
I guess I was wrong here about Alex Bergeron. I thought he was going to be hanging around towards the back, but now fighting his way up into 6th. I said it was Cardwell up front. I misspoke. You all misheard me. Alex Bergeron to the top 5 here on lap 10. He is fighting with everything he's got.
The multi-time World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car iRacing champion here, trying to see if he can go for another win here in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship at Eldora. He'll dive to the inside of David Heilemann and cannot make it work. Tries to go slot in behind him down the back straightaway to set up for another pass in the middle of turn 3 and 4. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Tyler Schell is your new race leader in that number 85 as they work their way through the middle of turns 1 and 2.
It's another one of those World Championship drivers, guys. One of 8 in the field tonight. Bergeron included in that class, but Schell leads the top, and then Harvey stays in second, trying to keep an eye on him. And again, on the board with Alex Bergeron. Got up to 5th real quick off of the restart. Has kind of been stuck there since then. On the bottoms, Ducharme. You got Elby up the road as well. Bergeron's been both on the bottom and the top, though. He's doing everything he can to find a way through.
Alex Bergeron searching for that grip. He's gone to the bottom. Now tries to pull a big slide job over Heilemann, but will not make it work for him as David Heilemann will work his way back up into third as we see a battle for the race lead. Crossover by Tyler Schell to hold off Hayden Harvey. Schell still maintains the race lead as Bergeron pulls a big slide over Heilemann. Will not make it work. He's got to try again down the back straightaway.
Look at the control that these guys have. You're on board with Alex Bergeron, gets that right up against the wall. These sprint car drivers will grind the heads off of the bolts on the side of their cars because they're so close to it without ever touching it. That's the kind of talent it requires. That's the kind of talent the entire top 5 has, the entire field has here up front. Tyler Schell holding on to this lead.
Less than 20 laps to go here at Eldora Speedway. Tyler Schell is your race leader. Hayden Harvey holds on to second, while all the Heilemaniacs are pulling for David Heilemann in third, but he's under heavy attack by the multi-champion of Alex Bergeron. Bergeron tries to go to the inside. Will he try the big slide job this time, and will it stick? It will this time, but Heilemann will go back to the inside and cross back over.
Almost had the spot, but just caught the wall with the outside tire, and now a caution flag will slow us down at 18 to go.
Tyler Ducharme went up and around and end over end. I really hope he's not racing in VR.
Let's take a look at the replay right here and see what happened to Tyler Ducharme. As you'll see, there's the contact. Goes up into the wall, and yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. I hope he is not having VR or motion rig. He is just going end over end. Finally lands on his side and has to request a tow in order to get back to pit road. As we see, let's get on board with him possibly if we can and see just the chaos that ensues.
Are you sure an onboard's a good idea? Be warned, viewers.
Great camera angle by Dougie Beard as we see the onboard incident of Tyler Ducharme as he'll get the contact and then hit the wall, and well, we won't get to see it because it was so chaotic it broke the camera.
I just
And he
don't know if
gets
he
hit
thought
again.
that other car was down there, right? Like, he was in a battle already, I think, and he was going to cross over the driver that he was fighting with. Wasn't expecting that third car to come into that fight, and right there, just kind of turned down right into him.
As we will see what will happen to the field as pace car is now leading the field. Of course, we have completed 18 of the scheduled 35 laps here today. 18 laps to go. Of course, Justin Prince was here with us earlier. I'm Taylor Burris, Evan Pasoko, Jeff McConey, and our producer Ryan Bauer, with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. We are going to bring you the conclusion of today's race here at Eldora. This is the Dirt Sprint Car Championship, where pretty much all the biggest names in dirt sprint car racing on the iRacing service come here to play. And they're going to be out here trying to see who can win $100 and bragging rights of winning here at Eldora. Tyler Schell will lead them to the green flag here for the restart as he takes them to the high line. Green flag is out. We are back at it here at Eldora.
A little bit of craziness up front, and you're seeing it all pan out. 3 wide for second place. Heilemann down on the bottom. He's going to try and slide up. Not going to work. Gets into the side. No harm, no foul. Still 3 wide for second. But give that spot up there to none other than Alex Bergeron. Takes second right there.
And he does not want to stop there. He wants more. He's going to try to close the gap as we see Heilemann pull a big slide job, but a crossover by Bergeron to get back into second to set his sights on Tyler Schell. Out of turn number 2, it's the top 2 of Schell and Bergeron. 0.3 of a second separate the two. 3 wide for third position.
And 14 laps to go this time by. Bergeron has left plenty in the bank left in this race for him to fight for the race win in this one. But at the moment, it's Heilemann under fire for 3rd, 4th, 5th on the back. That's where the chaos is up front. 2-horse race. Bergeron closes on Schell.
Here comes Bergeron, tries to see if he can take a peek to the inside of Schell, but he will not make it work. Here comes David Heilemann trying to see if he can gain some ground if those two start battling. But right now, there's going to be single file pretty much for your top 7 as we see the next battle has to go around where Logan Rumsey, Adam Elby, and Aiden Berlin are battling as we will see Rumsey try to pull a slide job.
If you talk to any professional in these cars, they will tell you at Eldora, the closer you are, the faster you are. But if you get into that wall, that's where the trouble arises. If you are looking at 2 of the best up here in Alex Bergeron and Tyler Schell fighting up at the wall, no one can really make anything happen. And right as I say that, they both dive it to the bottom. One trying to defend the spot, the other trying to take it. There they are up front. They've got a full second lead.
10 laps to go here at Eldora. We will watch the battle between Shell and Bergeron. This is probably one of the best battles here we have right now as you're on board with Bergeron. To the top side of the racetrack they will go, building that momentum, building the speed. Bergeron to the inside, tries the slide job as Shell will cross over out of turn 2. Down the back straightaway, Shell gets the spot back.
And now Bergeron going to do the same again in 3 and 4. Slides up, taps the fence though. That'll aid the pass back to the inside. Shell retakes the lead. They'll swap it out a third straight time. So far, Shell has been prepared. We'll see if Bergeron parks it on one of them.
Here they come out of turn number 4. We're closing in on 8 laps to go here as we watch the battle between the top 2. David Heilman watches on about 1.2 seconds back. He's got Hayden Harvey and Aiden Berlin right behind him. Berlin's under attack by LB. LB will try to move into 5th position right now as we see Berlin, the crossover move between the 2 drivers down the front straightaway.
Some more battling up front. Slide jobs, left, right. You get a slide job. We get a slide job. Everyone up front is just throwing it in there. But Alex Bergeron now about 5 car lengths back. He's got to make that ground back up before he can go at it again.
He certainly does. About 2/10 separate the 2 drivers. High five right now for the driver, for the flagman as he chose it to the field. Here they come out of turn number 4. 4 laps to go here in the feature race as they work their way down the front straightaway. Tyler Shell will try to do this as best as they can and continue to try to see if he can hold off Bergeron.
You are watching 2 of the best in the business give it 110%. Bergeron at 4 to go. Trails now by 6 car lengths in 1 and 2. He had gotten to Shell numerous times, but the 44 has held him off, looking to be a 3rd different race winner in 3 weeks, coming to 3 laps to go.
Here they work their way through. 3 laps to go for our race leaders as they work their way through. Bergeron, 0.2 of a second back in closing. Here they come out of turn number 4. This should be the white flag this time around. One more attempt for Bergeron. Bergeron goes to the top side of the racetrack here. See if he can build the momentum he needs out of turn 2. He goes to the outside. Will he try to slide job? Shell protects the bottom of the racetrack. Out of turn 4 for the final time. Tyler Shell will win here at Eldora.
What a finish at the end. Alex Bergeron had the momentum. Tyler Shell saw it and had to defend, did everything he could to throw that back bumper in front of Alex Bergeron and just beat him. Not even really by a nose, not even by a car length. They were side by side. Alex Bergeron was climbing the wall almost.
He certainly was. What a great battle here today as we see. And I remember correctly, nope, he did not. I was thinking Tyler Shell put on a great performance the last time we were at USA, and finally he beats Alex Bergeron here for the victory. As we watch on and see the replay, there's the contact off turn number 4. Bergeron going up on 2 wheels, and there on the line you will see how close it was. But with that, let us give you your full field rundown here after the race at Eldora. Tyler Shell will win over Alex Bergeron. In 3rd, you'll find Hayden Harvey beating out Logan Rumsey for 4th position. In 5th, you'll find Adam Elby followed by Jacob Denny in 6th. Austin Selman will come home 7th. Jeremy St. Louis in 8th with Rylan Gray 9th, and Aiden Berlin rounds out your top 10.
Continuing on down through your results, Trevor Frank ends up 11th along with David Heileman, Kevin Hanley, Garrett Hulsey, and Rusty Kruger through the top 15. And then drivers that had speed but were involved in incidents will include Tyler Ducharme at 16th, Billy Rowley in 17th spot. Hayden Cardwell for the Ironman effort he put in tonight only gets as good as 18th position ahead of Jesse Dacus in 19th. And Emerson Axum rounds out your top 20.
Well, as we wait to see the rest, our top 3 come down and celebrate, we're going to talk to them. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break. So don't you worry. You're watching the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series live from the virtual Eldora Speedway on the Podium eSports Network.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to coverage of the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series live from the virtual Eldora Speedway. We just wrapped up an exciting finish, and now we're going to speak to one of our podium finishers. Hayden Harvey comes home in third position here tonight. He is with Jeff McConey.
Hayden, you had a great run out there. You started in first, you finished in third, your first podium with this series. How are you feeling after that great accomplishment?
I mean, I'm ecstatic, man. This is my first year really taking iRacing seriously, and being able to come out here with the World of Outlaw guys like Bergeron, Heilemann, Shell, and just to be able to come out here and finish right up there with them, it's a win in my books any day of the week. It's just, I'm ecstatic to be up here.
I can imagine so. It's a very, very tough field to get through. You started up at the front. So what's your mindset going into a race like this? You're starting on the pole, but what's going through your mind as you're getting ready to take the grid?
Really, just keep everything under me when I get on the track. Just keep the car under me, just keep calm, and I get in the mindset that everyone on that track is just another driver. I run them the exact same way as I would anyone else. You know, you can't let it get to you too much, because when you let it get to you, that's whenever you get in your head and you start making those small mistakes that lose you that little bit you need to really run with these guys.
Absolutely, and you've proven that you can go up here and run with these guys and beat a large majority of them. You had a fantastic run out there. Who do you want to thank for it?
I just got to thank Austin Vanderpool for putting me on this team last year and giving me this chance to really come out here and see what I can do and get my name out there. It would not be possible without him and everyone on the team that has been helping me improve myself every week for this whole year. And I got to thank all our sponsors, of course, that have helped us from day one, and of course the new ones. Jack's Wax, Speed Shop 51 for the setup tonight, Wright's Motorsports Photography, Rowdy Energy, Chop House Race Products, UDTV, ZRD Designs for these amazing cars tonight, Complete Collision Services, 11 Pointer Outdoors, and Vanderpool Construction. That just wouldn't be possible without them backing us up.
Well, you had a fantastic run out there tonight, Hayden. Congratulations on it. Your first podium, probably of many, it seems, if you can keep this up. Great job out there.
Thank you, sir.
That is Hayden Harvey coming home in third. Next up to speak with is Alex Bergeron, and he is with Evan Pasoko.
Yeah, that's right. We're standing by with the driver of the number 12 Mercedes, Alex Bergeron. And Alex, congratulations on yet again another podium. I know you guys would have wanted a little bit more out of this one. Before we talk feature, though, let's talk earlier in the night. You guys weren't able to get in through your heat race, and that made things a little bit more difficult for you than it did the rest of tonight's podium finishers. Just tell us about trying to get through this night, starting all the way with the D main and including that just sneaking through in the C main by getting that number 4 spot. Must have been tough.
Yeah, it was. Got wrecked a bit earlier in the heat race, and that was unfortunate. But went through the C-main and all the alphabet soup, and found our way in the feature, and we made our way quickly to the front, and felt like we had a great car, but we would have wanted to start a bit up front at the beginning and clear out a bit of damage through the race, and I feel like that hurt us a little bit. But I think we had a good car, and another podium is very good. So great to be able to go from 17th to 2nd.
You and Tyler had about 10 laps there where it was just you two up front to be able to fight this one out at points. Had a nose in front. You guys were swapping out the race lead a bunch of times. In the end, it's going to be one spot shy of making it back-to-back wins in this one. You look back on that battle with the 44. Was it just that little bit of damage that was the difference maker there, or did you feel like maybe if you were a little bit more aggressive, you could have pushed the issue a little bit more?
No, I feel like the car, I hit the wall in the turn one there on the bottom, trying to pass Alleman there, and I think that screwed the car a little bit, and definitely towed out in the front. But I feel like the car was good. I mean, it could have been better. I feel like on my end, a couple of mistakes, but it was hard racing and fun. It's always fun to race with Tyler there, and we raced clean when we did some slide jobs there and there, and I think it did a great racing for the fans out there.
3 races into this series and 3 different race winners thus far. Do you think that's a sign of things to come, the competition that you're going to be dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good, but, if next week we can start a bit up front without getting wrecked in the heat race, that would help. But, it's part of the deal, and, we'll hope to get up front and, do another good job and go off on the pole and just do a great job as always.
Did a great job tonight of fighting through that attrition, Alex. We'll let you get out of here before we do the sponsors and shout-outs of those good folks. Who makes it happen for you?
Definitely everybody at Team EBR Esports, Rebecca, Jason, all of our partners, CSI Shocks, Bilogica, BK Designs, Martin Farm Equipment, ABR Setup Shop, Stoco, and CD Symptography. Everybody helps us out. All the fans out tuning in tonight, and you guys doing an awesome job broadcasting, and Birdie for putting this league up and allowing us racers to do laps and have some fun here on Wednesday nights.
Well, we appreciate you sticking around to chat with us, Alex. Good to talk with you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Evan.
It's your P2 finisher tonight from the Eldora Speedway, Taylor.
Certainly is, and here is our race winner, Tyler Schell. Tyler, I gotta say, that was probably one of the best battles we've seen all season so far, and you gotta say, what was your thoughts going on when you started battling with Bergeron towards the end of that race?
Just come out on the other side compared to last week. Me and him have had, I think, this is our 3rd race like that in 2 weeks, and I've came out on the opposite side like he did tonight, and just trying to come out on this side for once.
Well, with that, I mean, you pretty much had one of the top cars. What was the track conditions like for you?
They were really scary, sketchy. You had to be really quick up on the high line. That's about it. I kind of found that slider line, a little slider there in the 1. Like, I don't know, 5-6 to go, and felt like that was definitely better and a lot safer, and kind of a cut down line in 3 and 4 there to get some grip. But other than that, just right around the wall.
Well, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to say thank you to?
Yeah, just like thanking everybody that puts us on. Brody does a hell of a job, and you guys do a great job broadcasting. And then I was up SimSport and our sponsors, School of Sim Racing, Flow Racing, Anderson Speedway, Motorsports Beat, Just Logistics, Hergot Real Estate, Overall Photographs, Roof Co., Catch Fence Apparel, and Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation.
Well, of course, go and enjoy this victory here. Of course, you're $100 richer after that win. That is Tyler Schell, your winner here at Eldora. Well, with that, we still have a lot of great racing to come here in the next couple of days, gentlemen, and it all starts actually first thing tomorrow, March 4th at 9 p.m. The eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series will kick off in Sin City at the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Of course, this is the first step in the chance, as Evan, as you always bring out, the road to $300,000, and that will start tomorrow night at 9 p.m. You can catch the action at twitch.tv/Podium eSports. Then Friday, 8 p.m., PCA Sim Racing is back, and with the Zone Group Challenge from the virtual Watkins Glen International. Catch the action, of course, on youtube.com/PCA Sim Racing. Then on Sunday, March 7th at 9:15, the MPI Cup Series All-Star Race live from the virtual Kansas Speedway. Catch the action at twitch.tv/Podium eSports. Monday Night Racing returns by Tufco. We're heading across the border to Montreal, March 8th, 8 p.m. on twitch.tv/podium2. The next time we get down and dirty, we will be heading to, of course, Kokomo Speedway, March 10th at 9 p.m. for the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. Catch all the action on twitch.tv/podium2. And then finally, March 13th, 8 p.m., the MSRA Premier Series, Mercury Energy 350 from the virtual Phoenix Raceway. And of course, we cannot thank enough for our wonderful partners here for presenting tonight's race, starting off with AllStar Visuals. And of course, Oceanic Dirt Sim Events. Gentlemen, a great race here tonight. Any final thoughts from each of you before we come to a close?
Well, I just wanted to thank you guys for letting me crash the party, right? I think anytime I get to watch and call some sprint car racing, it's a good time. And especially when you got a series like this here on Podium, right, where you have the best of the best on the sim. Guys like Alex Bergeron getting it put to him, fellow world championship drivers, and a bunch of up-and-coming guys on the service. So there's a ton of names we saw on track tonight that I think we're going to be looking forward to at that top level of the sim in a couple of years. And it was a great night of racing, and I'll be sure to be tuning in to Kokomo for round 4.
Jeff, what about you? A lot of different things we saw with these drivers. What is one of the things that we can expect at Kokomo?
Well, Kokomo's a very difficult track. I hear a lot of people say they either love it or they hate it. I've never met anyone that's just indifferent to it. But I'll tell you what, if we see anything like the racing we saw tonight, it's going to be a very fun night where you saw guys just coming through the field from the back. Hayden Cardwell, I think he would have been one of the favorites to win if he hadn't been caught up just getting through the traffic that results from when you get stuck in the alphabet soup. But that was some really great racing all around, and if they carry that momentum to Kokomo, man, it's going to be a very fun week next week, and you better be sure to tune in and watch.
You certainly will. Well, we hope everyone can tune in, of course, next week at Kokomo, and of course, all of the future events happening here on Podium Esports. But with that, it's time that we come to a close. For Bernie Wilhelm at the Dirt Sprint Car Championship, for James Pike, Cisco Scarmuza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore at Podium Esports, for my colleague Justin Prince, who is with us, and of course Evan Pasoko and Jeff McConey, and for tonight's producer Ryan Bauer, I'm Taylor Burris. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast. We will see you next Wednesday night from Kokomo.
I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage.